Alright everybody, Outakes. Okay. Now these are in roughly chronological order according to the discs, and basically I'm not going to go into heaps and heaps of detail on each song. I'll just say how I generally feel about each one, but and maybe some other notes like how well it fits to the album and things. So we're going to start with the very first, the order they're presented in. So we move into disc 4, which is Outakes 1, which is basically, now all the songs in this era definitely date from the Revolution era, except for the first two, which are basically archaic. The Revolution era tracks are dominated by the fact they're much more organic band sounds, there's more experimentation, and there's more sort of raw live instruments rather than synthesizers, which dominate the later ones. And also, generally, I mean, if you want to put a racial category on the music on this first disc, a lot of it's very European sounding rather than black sounding. I mean, okay, there are definitely some funkier black stuff here, but virtually by the end it's all entirely funky black stuff as he jettisoned the Revolution, and it's generally European sound. So starting off with I Could Never Take the Place of Your Man. Now this song predates everything else on the album by a long shot. This goes back to the era between For You and Prince. It's not bad for the era. I mean, it's nice and neat, you know. I mean, it sounds nothing like the 1987 version of the song, you know. Prince is definitely singing exclusively in his falsetto in that era, so I think that says a lot. It's very hard to actually link it to the rest of the album. I think it's been stuck there mainly as a historical piece just to see how deep the roots of these songs go. It's like Graffiti Bridge. Some of the songs have got very deep and ancient roots. This is probably one of the very oldest songs ever to go on a Prince album. But then again, at the same time, I mean, Wouldn't You Love to Love Me, which dates from the same era, is actually older. The original sort of version of that was 78 or 79, although I think it probably sounds about 81. It's a similar sound, and some people always link this song, I Could Never Take the Place, to the whole Rebels sessions. This is actually pre the Rebels. This actually goes back to April 79 when he was laying down tracks for Prince. This was at Alpha Sound in LA. Overall, it's not a bad song, I mean, but generally it's definitely not one of the best on the album. It's not a filler either. I mean, it's interesting to hear it, you know, a few times, but it's hardly going to be a big go-to track for me, okay. Alright, next we move straight up to 1985. We're in basically the parade era now, okay. Teacher, Teacher, this is a beautiful song. Again, Prince is singing in a fairly highish voice. You've got Lisa and Wendy doing backing vocals, you know. I know you want to leave me, but I know, baby, let me tell you, I'm going to teach you. Classic Revolution sound, very upbeat, positive, poppy song, you know. Great song, actually. Teacher, Teacher was one of the songs that was on the Dream Factory but never made it into Sign of the Times. It's a great song. I've heard it on bootleg before, but to hear it like this is great. Then we come to basically one of the very best songs on the whole set, and that's All of My Dreams. I mean, All of My Dreams is just a masterpiece of music, basically. Again, this is a song we're still in late 1985 here. It's basically, again, it's Prince and the girls. You know, it's sort of like this mini revolution. Prince, Lisa, and Wendy. The lyrics are amazing. You know, Captain Crunch, Africa, Everyone in My Dreams. You know, includes some hilarious lyrics like, you know, Wendy, I'm going to give you the brush and you're going to paint the side of the train. And there's some very good piano playing, some great guitar. You know, so there's sort of like an ethereal part going, oh my dreams. Like you feel like you're in a plane and you're flying up like 50,000 feet above the earth, and you're stuck in these sort of like almost sexual clouds so far above the earth you can't see down to the bottom, basically. But ethereal music, I mean, you have to hear this song to feel it. And I mean, this wasn't even a first time song for me. I mean, this song's been on bootlegs since the year died. I mean, it's on the Dream Factory, all the pressings. It's just an incredible song. It's easily one of the very best songs ever made. I mean, why it never ended up on an album, I'll never bloody know, basically. It's great as Song of the Times is. I mean, if he put All My Dreams on, it would be even better. It's just an incredible song. You know, there's not much more. It would easily be one of the very best songs on this whole album, and probably easily top 10 best ever, and probably in the top 5 of the 80s. Pretty much, it's pretty much Prince-eccentric brilliance would be a way to describe it. And then we've got Can I Play With You, and this is actually quite a long song. The first 5 minutes is just basically lots of horns playing. This is the famous Miles Davis tracks, and originally I didn't like it, but it gets into quite a funky dance jam. You know, this is definitely a more black sounding song. You know, I mean, it's got like Greg and Wally all bopping around on stage. You know, can I play with you? Bom bom. Can I talk to you? I mean, it's pretty good. It's not as good as All My Dreams, but I do really like it. It's a good song. Then we've got Wonderful Day, and there's like 2 versions of this song. I mean, and this is sort of more sort of female poppy, up boppy. You know, I mean, I don't like it as much as the later Cosmic Day, but it's all right. I mean, because I've heard these songs so many times, it's easy for it to get lost in the American. It's a good song, but it's a bit too sort of happy, poppy, you know, sing-songy for me. I mean, Play in the Sunshine's a much better example of this type of song, so Yeah, it's average. I wouldn't say it's great. Okay, the first version of Strange Relationship follows it. Now, this is a great song. I mean, this is the original version. It's got like the sitars and the darbukas, you know, the bong, 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 the Indian drums and everything. That's all basically David Coleman playing his instruments in the studio. Again, you've got a lot of Lisa and Wendy all over this track. And it's actually not the version you hear on Sign of the Times. It's a much later, sort of more cold, mechanical, synthesized version. This is a much more organic revolution type song. And it's very good. I think we're just on the edge of 85, 80. I think we're in December 85 now. And we're a bit past the Parade era, so we are heading into the sort of Dream Factory Crystal Ball era. I've already heard it. I mean, it appears on the July 18, 1986 pressing of Dream Factory, their famous bootleg. But again, unlike the bootlegs, the versions on this album are just outstanding, basically. Then we've got Visions, which is the piano piece. I mean, it's all right, you know what I mean, but you've heard it a few times, you know, yeah. Then we've got an earlier version of the Ballad of Dorothy Parker, and this is the one that's got horns all over it, and I actually really like the horns on it, you know what I mean. It's one of those songs that's just so poppy, so catchy, you just sing along with it. It's a brilliant song, you know what I mean, and it's just basically like the album version, except it sounds a bit more raw and you've got more horns running for it, basically, and it's just more sort of more played out. And then we come to Witness for the Prosecution. Now, I've already heard this song before in the past many times, and believe me, I never get sick of it. This is a great song. Again, it's about says it again. I've been guilty for the prosecution of this love affair. I swear by heaven I love you. In school we traded chairs. You know, and it's great again because it's got the two things I love the most in these Prince, you know, Love Her Done Me Wrong songs. We've got the whole sort of courthouse feel. She's on trial, basically. You know, he's the witness for the prosecution. She's the one prosecuting him for this guilty love affair, basically. Great harmony vocals. Again, Prince's voice just really comes through in this song. It's just a great song. I mean, I could just listen to it forever. It's not up there with All My Dreams, but this is definitely one of the better songs on the album. And yeah, I mean, if you haven't heard Witness for the Prosecution, you really need to hear it, you know. And then we get into Power Fantastic. Now, again, this is a song we already know because it appeared on the hits. And to be honest, I like the Power Fantastic. What I don't like about it, though, is like the 2 or 3 minutes of talking. I mean, it's cute to hear that type of stuff the first time. It's like some of the comedy songs like Pope and, you know, but, you know, after the second or third time, you know, it's tedious. And the problem with these songs is that, especially when you listen to a CD, you have to skip it like 2 minutes, and nobody's got an automatic thing where you just push a button that chops out 2 minutes of the song. You have to hold your hand down as it scrolls past. Okay, blip, blip, blip. I want you to play the horns, and Eric, we're going to do this, blah, 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 blah. You know, so, yeah, and it's too long, so I've got a pretty short, you know, attention span. And that says what? I think that's just another, some of these I've actually forgotten because some of these I haven't listened to fully since October. And generally, if I've forgotten a song, it means it's not a very memorable song to start off with. Probably on the some outtakes, I mean, of the 45 or whatever songs, 15 of them are fully just fillers. They're not bad songs, they're just throwaway, they don't really add anything to the legacy. And that says what? It's just really another one of these sort of mid to late 80s instrumental type things that you've heard a million times with, you know, it's basically a Madhouse Flesh outtake, and it's not that good, basically. Then we get to Love and Sex, and wow, Love and Sex, that's an incredible song. It sounds it's completely different to the 1984 Purple Rain one. It's got that sort of, you know, Parade sort of down, 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 down feel. And Love and Sex, I almost feel like, you know, this belongs more on Parade than it does on Sign of the Times, but it's got a great sing-songy part. I mean, Prince's vocals are great, you know, there's some very good musical breakdown, lots of horns, great song, basically. And then we come to another one of my favourite songs. Now, I actually did a mini sort of like song review of this one. This is A Place in Heaven. And this is basically Prince's vocal. What's strange is they've got the Lisa vocal on the end of the third disc, and they both date from the same time. We're up to around February, March 86 here, basically. Prince has got Parade in the can. You know, he's got Under the Cherry Moon in the can. He's just getting ready for the Hit and Run tour around America. And this is the time where he's cut his hair down real short and everything. But great song, you know, I mean, A Place in Heaven, I mean, beautiful song about suicide, you know. Some of the vocals, I mean, Prince really just turns the falsetto up to 11 in this song, and you just feel it. Then you've got Colours. Again, this is another instrumental, but unlike the other instrumentals, this one I actually really like. This has actually got some really funky stuff going through it, you know. Lots of nice horn lines, you know, and some great guitar playing, you know, ding, 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 ding. You know, I really do like it, actually. And I like the sort of like, you know, ding, 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 ding. You know, it's a very good sort of guitar instrumental. It's much better than the other instrumentals so far. Then we've got Crystal Ball, and this is actually a shorter version, which is still, Crystal Ball's a great song no matter how long you play it, but you know, that's the ball, dun, dun, dun. Oh yeah, we gotta go to the crystal ball, come on, and just love it. Prince's falsetto, can never get enough of it, you know. I mean, why did they never not like release the entire Crystal Ball project original, and not the 1998, you know, one full of bloody 90s versions of bloody cum songs with a verse missing, or the shitty raps in them, you know, but just great music. Big Tool, this is the earlier version. It's sort of like got like this sort of like weird sort of sitar bong bong type darbuka beat running for it, going, I'm gonna build a big tall one, down, down, don't circle so you can get out. And even though I've heard the song Big Tall Wall, this is the earlier version which you don't hear on the bootlegs and things, basically. And this is really good. I like both versions. I probably like this one a wee bit more. I love the vocals, you know. Basically, Prince is acting all fucked up again. Pardon my language. I'm trying to cut down the swearing this year. You know, he's basically, it's more control over Susanna. He's basically saying, Susanna, you bitch, you stay where you are. You do as you're told. Well, I'll go and basically have sex with everyone and everything that moves, basically. So, you know, again, Prince being the squared up lover, and don't worry, it gets much darker on the third disc. There's a song about, you know, chopping someone's lips off. I mean, imagine they chop my lips off. God, I'd probably die. Yeah. But anyway, and then we get to basically just A Place in Heaven backwards, which is just some sort of weird black backmasking. Now, you probably think it's pointless, but I actually had a look and did some research into why Prince made this. Again, as you know, Prince loves playing around in the studio, all the studio trickery and wackery. And what I found out was Prince did the song because at the time there was a big campaign by all these so-called Christians, you know, complaining about satanic backmasking in music. And it turned out Prince was, you know, having a bit of a play around and decided that he would take a song and play it backwards, just for no other reason than just to piss off all these people saying that he was satanic and he was devil. And there was a guy called, I think it was John and Dan Peters, who were protesting outside his show saying Prince was the devil and the only god he basically worshipped was the one in his pants. And Prince got a bit annoyed, basically. So I think this is just Prince messing around with a bit. See, I said messing rather than the other word. So again, it doesn't really add much to the set. Adds a bit of context maybe, but, you know, not much going on here. And then we get to another just absolutely beautiful, glossy, sort of mid to late 80s, almost like yuppie type corporate rock song, you know, in a large room with no lights, you know, very lushly orchestrated, great harmony vocals, Prince singing all over the place, you know, da 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 da. Have you been around motherfucker? Welcome to the rat race here. Have you ever been a lover in a large room with no light? Do 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 do. Oh. It's a sophisticated lover and you feel... I'll stop singing, I just cannot remember lyrics. Okay, there you go. Okay, so that's disc 1. Overall, so far, I mean, if I have to give these things a mark, I'm probably growing past the age of marking songs. Of all the songs on the album, there are a lot. I'd only say that there are 3 really bad fillers on it, and I'd say the fillers definitely would be Visions, because I've heard it so many times. I'm going to say Power Fantastic, because you don't need all the damn talking. We know Prince was a creative guy. We know he kicked people's asses on stage. You don't need to hear it, basically. So that's a bit fillery. And again, also, I'm not going to... And that says what? That's the other filler. I'm not going to say Colours. Colours, great song, okay. Of the songs on the album, the ones that are just absolutely essential, 10 out of 10 songs, I mean, definitely would be All My Dreams. And then probably, what else on this album would be that high too? Definitely, I'll even say The Ballad of Dorothy Parker. I just really enjoyed that, you know. Witness for the Prosecution, definitely. A Place in Heaven, of course. And Big Tall Wall, and of course, in the sort of good category, not quite top rank, but still really good songs, I'll definitely say Teacher, Teacher, Can I Play With You, Wonderful Day, Strange Relationship, pretty much everything else except the other songs I named. So overall, as an overall disc, I mean, 0 being just like, why did you bother putting this out, and 10 being like, you know, it's Sign of the Times on acid. This is a solid 9 out of 10 disc, basically. There's a lot of good songs on this album, and, you know, so... That's my run for today. I'm going to review the other 2 discs a bit later because I've already done the 2 other videos before this. So peace and be wild, and hopefully that way I can keep you wanting more rather than just spitting all my stuff out at once. So there you are. I mean, if you haven't got this album, I mean, I'm sure you can order it. I mean, I haven't even looked, but I'll tell you the next video if it's actually even available here yet or not. But I've had my copy long enough now for it to start gathering dust on the box. So there you are. Peace and be wild, everybody.